Hey guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the DrumQuig podcast. I'm Matt,
Welcome. I'm Troy,
and tonight
and we
with
have
us.
our.
Oh, see, now we're just going to talk over each other. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Steve, I know I'm going to say your last name wrong. I'm going to pretend that I know it's Steve Colucci.
Better than money, dude. Perfect. Matt, perfect.
All right. And Steve's with us today, and we had talked about this right before we started the show. Steve was actually one of the first people who followed the page. We just got this started the beginning of January and followed the page, and I started looking at what Steve was doing and love, fellow drummer. So, Steve, introduce yourself and kind of, walk us through how you got to this point and why the drums.
Well, my name's Steve Colucci, and I've been playing quite some time now. Got into drums, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit it, but I'm a little older. So back in the early mid '70s, it was Kiss, and Peter Criss was my first influence. So I remember bashing on like any drummer, back of a chair, pots and pans, the bed, whatever it may be, and I remember vividly, listening to Kiss and trying to make a noise. I don't know what I'm doing at 8. I was 8 years old. And I remember listening, my brother's room was across from me. And I remember going, this is horrible. And I finally went up and said, like, that girl singer is horrible. What are you listening to? You're a little older than me. Well, it was Led Zeppelin. So, turned out Bonham was my biggest influence growing up. And I picked drums. I don't know how. I don't know how anybody explains it. It's just, I think it's the way you're wired. Your personality, or and just something about making noise and things of that nature when I was younger. I hope that answered the question.
That does. And where are you at, Steve? I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. Matt's down in Florida.
Well, Troy, I'm sorry to hear about the Kentucky thing. I'm in New Jersey.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm in South Jersey, New Jersey. No better than Kentucky, trust me.
You guys had a couple of cool hockey games over the weekend, though. So
Yeah, Flyers. I'm a Flyers fan. I'm more towards Philadelphia.
Gotcha. My wife's from Philadelphia, so we agree on that. So, and I like Tortorella. I liked when he coached Tampa, so we always kind of like Tortorella. So he's a character.
yeah, I was going for New Jersey in that one. I'm not going to lie, but it was only because after watching that Lightning game, I wasn't really in the best of moods. I wanted to see.
No, Max Weinberg was there, and he's like, "Yeah, my son's the greatest metal drummer in the world." And found out Jay was there too. So,
oh, that's cool. That's really
somewhere. Cool. Yeah, looks like he's got another gig too. So, I think Slipknot did him wrong. So,
it's going to be hard to replace that band. I mean, you go from the top of the food chain band to anything afterwards. I just don't know how you get to that point again.
And
it's a shame.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was caught off guard. So, just feel bad for the guy.
Yeah. And for him to be a replacement and already had big enough shoes, gets seemingly kicked out of the band. We're going in a different direction after 13 years. I think he was with them. 10, 13 years. Like, how would anybody want to fill those shoes at that point? Like, just.
That's a good question. I mean,
it's because Corey's having a nervous breakdown, but.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another show.
Right.
I'm not a psychologist, so.
I mean, I have a psych degree, but this is, again, not the show.
No, but you think about, like, go to another direction, and I get that. But when you go to another direction, is it a personality driven? Because you would think his level of playing was not the issue. I mean, right? So he could probably adapt to anything they were doing.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree with that completely.
His dad's Max Weinberg. He subbed for Bruce Springsteen before. He can play other stuff.
Right. I mean, at that level, those guys, I think they get pigeonholed. But like, you would be surprised at how good at that level those drummers really are and how versatile they really are.
Exactly.
And I will still say that metal drummers have the versatility that doesn't carry in the same way. It doesn't carry on in I don't feel is in as many genres, because you're right. You know, if you don't make it at the metal level, you've got to do something else. You don't have to run through those circles. So, like you said, Jay can probably play anything. If he filled in, you know, Bruce Springsteen to Slipknot, like those are not two bands you would ever see on anybody else's resume.
No.
So for you, Steve, like nowadays, like who are the influences? Who are the people you're watching, and you know, kind of get you excited to continue to play drums? You know, each and every day.
That's a great question, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, look, you can talk about Grayson, the Pootman. You can talk about I can't pronounce his name, but you know the bearded guy, Spanish guy, El
Cepido.
Yeah, I mean that guy just.
We're sorry about the mispronunciation,
yeah.
El Cepido, but
I'm gonna be honest with you. I find motivation and inspiration in just about any drummers that I watch. I don't only watch or follow big name guys. I mean, every time I'm on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, you know, you get your feeds. There's just so much talent out there that just will never get the opportunity, unfortunately. And there's something that you can really pick up from almost any of them when you watch them. And they all keep me inspired because, you know, you're just trying to keep up to the level of what you see, if that makes any sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And there's plenty to see these days. So it's kind of hard to decide what you can use and what you can't use. Rudiments are good, rudiments are bad. You know, everything's out there these days. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer that, you know, your foundation's everything. So any drummer that says you shouldn't have good rudiments, shouldn't practice rudiments is in my personal opinion, foolish, because 99% of what you're playing is with your hands, and all rudiments are is the stickings and stuff. What they do is they condition your hands to play the things that you hear, for example.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
if that makes any sense to you guys, I mean, I see a lot of discussions, and not to get off topic, but I saw one of my favorite drummers is a Cowboy drummer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Joe Lana, Cowboy drummer.
I know who that is. Yeah.
Okay. And he had something posted about chops or groove. And my personal opinion is, why can't you have both? You should be able to groove, right? That's our job.
Right.
Well, who would say you shouldn't have chops? Why shouldn't you have that in your toolbox?
Somebody that doesn't have chops would say that.
That's exactly what Joe was saying, and I agree with that 1,000%. I don't say I can't groove because I can groove. I don't say I don't have chops because I can chop. I don't say, I'll say I can't play Latin because I can't play Latin. I'm not a good jazz drummer. But I would never say something. I just don't understand why drummers feel the need to say, oh, you chop. What's wrong with having them? It's like you have a Ferrari, right? It could go 185 miles an hour. Doesn't mean you're going to go 185, but it's nice to know the speed stamp for one.
Exactly.
Is that not a good analogy?
There are no topics in this show anyway, so we go whichever way we want to go. So if we want to go that way, we go that way. There are no show notes, so we're pretty flexible.
Well, and that's the whole point of this, is that you've got three musicians on the camera in every aspect of the element. You know, we have, and Dad talked about this more, like wanting to start playing again and wanting to start doing that again. And you have that. I almost bought a drum set on Facebook Marketplace today because it said $50, but then I looked at the seller and I was like, I'm afraid. There's probably a reason, and it was a stock Yamaha photo. It wasn't even like a picture of the drum set.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it was
I'm
right.
gonna get murdered. Like that's
right out of the catalog.
Yeah, that $50 is your first warning. Like, something's not right.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Troy. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
60.
You will. Never mind. Just kidding. I'm gonna be 57. So
yeah, I just turned 60 last month. So
happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You look good for 80. So it's okay.
Thank you.
I didn't realize Steve was a stand-up comedian too.
Matt, when you look like this, you got to rely on comedy to get the attention off of this. Okay. So Troy, you're just starting to get back into it?
Yeah, I am. I had some health issues the last many years, and it's arthritis specifically. I had shoulder surgery. It just I've got to kind of reconfigure how I play. I'm probably going to end up being. I'm a lefty that's always played righty, and it took
Okay.
me when I learned the rudiments. I learned everything backwards. I heard them backwards. I didn't know that for years
Wow.
until I started going through stick control again. It was like my natural inkling is to go this way, not that way, but you get to the same place,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Oh,
but you just play
absolutely.
a lot of things. And I did a lot of inverted paradiddles and had no clue what they were for a long time. So,
Really.
yeah. So, but I'm trying.
Well,
I'm going to try to see how I
good.
can play with without pain.
I just always encourage when I hear people that are getting older like us. You don't. There's no reason you can't do it. I mean, I get
Hmm.
granted physical limitations will put a little bit of a damper, but again, you'll readjust. Like you're saying, you're set up. Get to a position where you feel comfortable. Your body's not hurting.
Hmm.
But my thing is, age is just a number. You can go
Right.
back. I took 15 years off. I've just been back in the last 4 years or so, getting back into it.
Hmm.
And you can hear I can play. But so my point is, we all get off sometimes we have to get off. Life makes us get off the track that we were on, and you get back on. I just think it's very encouraging that you're going back in and play. I just think that's
And my
great.
track's probably about that many years too. I had a bad fall back in 13, was it?
Yeah, it was
11
13.
years ago. And that
Oh
just kind of
wow.
started the arthritis train. Uh, so,
Well, listen,
but
our age, that arthritis train's coming either way. Drummers,
oh yeah,
especially with our shoulders, carpal tunnel. I mean, some of this is a occupational hazard as it is.
yeah. And I
But
did
this,
delivery work my whole life too, so that didn't help.
I'm just going to do your plan, man, and you can always DM me for any tips or anything I can do to help you,
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
and I'll just invoice you. It's all good.
I'm like, where's the joke? Ah, there it
There's
is.
always going to be a joke, man. There's
That's
something
right.
coming out.
I just love that. Like everything about that conversation because that's what this community should be. That's exactly what this community should be. Every community when it comes to those circles of musicians or photographers or artists or whatever. People are so convinced with, oh, like you said, oh, I got to be as good as him or I'm not going to be as good as him and they just quit. Or you watch those people and you go, that's cool and it inspires. And I feel like that's what it's kind of our job is to inspire others and not kick other people down. And what you just did, hey, I know what it's like. Message me and I'll give you some tips. Like you didn't have to do that, but that's the community that we're in, and I
That's the
appreciate.
way. That's the way. And Steve's old enough to know this too. That's the way it used to be. It was drum hangs at the drum shop on Saturdays. Everybody would go hang out. You'd look for the next clinic. You'd wait for the modern drummer. It was just kind of a simpler time back then. But it was the big
Absolutely.
hang on the weekend. All the drummers, everybody hung out. Where are you playing tonight? What are you doing? What you got? What cymbal you buying? Or
Or just to,
now
or
it's
just to,
every
or just the
yeah,
newest licks. Your buddy,
yeah,
you go hang with your buddy and he'd show you something. You'd be like, oh, dude, what are you doing? Oh, he
right,
would do
right.
something and vice versa. But yeah, I'm going to tell you to kind of tap into what you're saying, Matt. Our drum community is rare in that most us drummers in this drum community are so open to sharing and being
Hmm.
supportive for the most part.
Yeah.
And if you ask a guitar player,
Oh,
not quite the same as it is for drummers. They're very, they don't like to share. They all kind of to
let me see how you're
themselves.
holding your fingers.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work for me.
No, I think our community is awesome. Listen, at my age, my whole thing is to try to motivate, inspire, and anybody. Like your dad's an owner than me. So, it's one thing to try to motivate and inspire the newbies that are coming up. There's plenty of people out there doing that. But all of us, any age, we should be trying to help each other climb the ladder or learn something new or
I
keep
think
them inspired to play.
Right. That's we lost the great ambassador Dom Famulero last year to
Yeah.
cancer, but he was that guy. I was blessed enough to have met him once and took a private lesson. The man had so much knowledge, but he was just so nice. Just such a nice ambassador for drums.
Yeah.
That's all he cared about. He didn't care anything about his playing or, it was, how can I help you? What do you
Yeah, but
want to
don't let him
learn?
fool you. That guy can play. That
Oh,
guy
yeah.
can play.
Yes, he
know?
could. He had some blinding double bass back before the
Oh.
internet. So
He really did. Everything he did, it was very calm, like almost like spastic, but in a good way. Just that
Yeah.
movement that he would do. And it was as he
Very.
got older, it got cooler. Like it just, he was like, what can I think of in this moment to do?
Guy's got a tie on and wingtips, and he's throwing blast beats out.
Glasses are flying off his head, and he still keeps playing. Yeah, yeah.
The China symbol behind him almost.
I never understood that part, though. I never understood that China placement that he had. I just never understood how, because it was almost flat. It was flat. I like my China right here. I like it to be kind of like a hit down. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I like it to be almost usually to the right of the ride and just kind of a flick.
Yeah.
Little flick, little accent, a little.
Especially if you have to play comfortably numb,
Right.
Speaking of older drummers, I saw that you were Jonathan Moffett sticks. How did that happen? How did you get involved with his sticks?
Well, me and Jonathan used to date way back when. Just kidding. That's a joke. All right.
We both just went. What?
Yeah, I know you guys are start over again. No, actually, it's a funny story. Funny to ask that question. So back in 2019, I made a video of me playing Smooth Criminal. Just post it to my YouTube or Instagram, whatever. As a matter of fact, I wasn't going to post it. I had gone somewhere. A guy had a kid. I said, let me try this. I was going to try to do it one-handed. Not because I'm great, but I thought it'd be kind of cool. I thought it was easier than it was. It wasn't as easy as I thought.
It's not easy. I could do it back in the day, but it's not easy.
It's not a one-handed. It's not a Def Leppard tune. It's definitely
a lot. It's a lot of bruises on your hands too.
Shout out to the Rick Allen reference there. Like, okay.
Old school for your dad. He knows what I'm talking about.
Don't let that kid fool you. He knows everybody that we do.
Okay.
Because I was dragging him to clinics when he was 8.
Yeah.
Listen, not to get off the topic, but real quick, it is a shout out to Rick Allen. Considering what happened to that guy, lost an arm and just refused to give up. You got to give the guy props. I mean,
I know.
But I will say this, and I don't mean to disrespect, but he wasn't a real technical player. So if that had happened to Neil Peart, he couldn't do it, right?
No.
Neil could not do what he does.
No,
and not sounded changed much from prior albums. But back to the Moffett thing. So Jonathan saw it, and he had done a little, I guess a little thing on his YouTube where he was like watching people play Michael Jackson, kind of like leaving little comments, and he commented and liked it. He sent me a DM, man, do you mind if I use this? And I was like, yeah, you can use whatever you want.
By all means.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, do I have to pay you for it? Like, God bless you, use it. So he used it, and then it was weird. We just clicked. And next thing you know, we exchanged phone numbers, then we started calling. If you go on my Instagram way back in the beginning, you'll hear him leaving me messages. I'm making fun of him, but he's leaving me messages and stuff. So 2020, I went out and I spent a week with him and Myra, his wife. Right before NAMM, I spent a week with him and his wife first, and then I went to NAMM with them, and just built a rapport. So when he started this stuff with the sticks, I said, I obviously want to support you, but I'm going to try. And I tried them, and I liked them. I liked them a lot. And so he just sent me a whole new batch, just like
I saw your picture with the batch, so
they are.
I was like, I got to ask him about that. So
they're actually. I'm going to tell you something because. Jonathan being a friend or whatever, because we still talk. I would just not have ever posted anything. But the truth is, I just really like the sticks, and the great was you can flip them around, and you got a different shoulder, different weight on the back. I just like them. So that's how that picture came to be, and how
Gotcha.
me and
That's very
Jonathan got
cool.
together. Yeah.
You never know. I mean, I've had him like some of my comments, but I haven't posted a video because he does get on there and look at stuff.
Oh yeah. I listen, and you know, I can always speak to Jonathan on your behalf to see if you would do your podcast.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's not a lot of times that I'm speechless, but that was one of them right there.
He's a down to earth. It's hard to believe. I spent the week with him, and I'm going to tell you kind of a cool story. So, you know, I'm seeing Jonathan. First of all, it's the first time I'm meeting the guy.
Right.
Now I'm meeting him, but now I'm meeting him in his private. Like, we'll go into his place. We'll go into his storage unit to look at stuff. And he, like, it was, you walk into his storage, he had 2 storage units. And one of his storage units, he had this big ass riser. Well, it turned out that was the riser from This Is It that Michael had wanted, because when they first started filming This Is It, if you watch the movie, he's on the ground. And Michael can't feed off him. So we had this $10,000 stage built so he could rise, you get Jonathan up off the ground so they can make eye contact better for the tour.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was the kind of stuff. And Jonathan in his regular clothes. Jonathan's regular clothes, by the way, it's like how you see him. He's not a T-shirt and jeans guy. He's always dressed nice when he goes out.
Yeah, I would expect that.
So I had a picture, and unfortunately I deleted it. I had a picture holding the last set list that they had agreed on from This Is It, on this big ass thing that they would write. They were constantly changing depending on, you know, how the rehearsals will go when they were weeding stuff out.
Right.
So, you know, it was like, he had like a little time capsule of that history. And here I'm in the storage unit and just met the guy. And we're just, you know, just browsing and looking at all this really cool stuff from his years of touring with Madonna and Michael and, you know, George Michaels. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember, the thing I remember about Jonathan, there was that one week on MTV, he was in the Michael video, he was in the George Michael, Elton John video, and he was in the Madonna video. All 3, they were all like top 3 songs. And then there's people on Jonathan's Facebook and Instagram going, "Who's this guy?" It's like, look him up. You have no clue who this guy is.
I'm going to tell you something, guys. I wasn't a Michael fan either, so let's just make that clear. Not like I was a Michael Jackson fan and met Jonathan. I like Smooth Criminal because I liked the beat. I like it was a pretty up-tempo groove kind of.
Now, did you do Michael Jackson or did you do Alien Ant Farm?
No, I did Michael Jackson. No, I did Michael Jackson. But I didn't even know Jonathan was on Madonna's albums or tour. I didn't know any of his history.
Wow.
So while I'm there with him in the storage unit, he literally has roughly 180 cassettes because Jonathan doesn't read music. So what the artist did, which was against Michael's policy, for example, is he was allowed to record every single rehearsal for all those artists so he could go back and learn them because he couldn't look at sheet music to learn them. He had to go back, listen, film, you know, audio, you know, they tape it. You know, he'd listen to what they were saying. It's like a gold. On my YouTube, I have an interview with me and Jonathan. I interviewed him when I was out there. It's like a gold mine. He's got all this unreleased material that no one's ever heard, with Michael talking back and forth and Madonna saying, "No, do this or try that." Pretty cool.
Wow.
I knew
That's
none
pretty
of that
cool.
with Jonathan when I met him. Yeah.
Yeah, the only the thing I remember, I used Billie Jean as a metronome when I didn't have one. You know, because if you could play to that without trying to fill through it or anything, it was like, because that's like the ultimate.
That's actually
the ultimate groove test.
That's Jeff Porcaro.
Is it Porcaro?
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
Jeff Porcaro on that one. But you're right. I mean, Jonathan's like a human metronome. They all are. I mean, listen, at that level, guys, think about it. That was the biggest artist of the world. And he toured with him on and off for 30 years.
Yeah.
He's got to be doing something pretty good.
Right.
Right? So.
Well, yeah. I mean, he really does. Like, I don't know how we transition out of that conversation like that. But I think it's time. It's time for the question. So,
it's time for the question. Okay. Our question, it's nothing Nothing weird. It's what song, if you could have played on, would it have been?
And we're expanding this to any song, not just Michael's
Yeah.
song. But any song. Like, what's a song, whether you can play it or not?
Yeah,
Is
that's
a
not a
song you would have
requirement.
loved to have played on.
Wow. That's a great question.
Everybody says that.
That's a great question. I mean, I want to say something with Zeppelin because I'm just such a Bonham fan. Jesus, God, that's not cool. This is making my head starting to hurt now. I can tell you what, Tom Sawyer might be one. Only because
Yeah.
that's such. I mean, this stratosphere. That whole
Yeah, I never could get that completely down. So that's
But
my
maybe
favorite
some-
drummer, but I couldn't get it down.
Maybe
I can air drum
Cashmere?
the hell out of it.
Oh, dude, we all can air drum it. I'm
Yes.
telling you. If you saw one of my latest videos I posted, I did Dennis Chambers too. Not to go.
Yeah, I saw that.
Listen, Dennis Chambers is a beast. We all know what a freaking incredible musician drummer he is. And I listened to Nice and I listened to that song. I'm like, well, I could probably get it kind of close, right? I can get it. I mean, I'm not Dennis Chambers. I know that. It's one of those songs you sit down to play and you go, like, wow, like how there's so much going on that he's doing that you just almost take for granted as a listener. But to emulate it, buddy, no. I'm hoping they
Yeah,
didn't see
the ghost notes that Chambers has are unreal. And then those little flurries.
But to answer your question, though, I will go with Cashmere. How's that?
That's good.
That's a nice, solid groove. Yeah, just great drum sound. I mean, everything was great on that too. It'd be great. But you know what? I hate to say it because Bonham killed it. What could I do better? Nothing.
And that's why the question is so thought-provoking. And when Dad told me like that was a question you wanted to ask, I'm like, everyone's just gonna do the same thing. They're gonna go, wow. And you really have to think, because it's like, you're in this case, you're not insulting the drummer, you're not taking anything away from him, but to be there for that moment and be a part of that. And I've always thrown it out there, there's no way Zeppelin, Queen, any of these guys knew when they made that music then what it would be now. And I have goosebumps right now because you picked Kashmir, because I literally saw a band on Friday do Kashmir as a cover randomly in the middle of their set. So yes, that is the perfect song to have been a
Well, let
part
me tell you a question. This is your fifth episode, fourth episode?
Yeah, 4.
So the fifth drummer, sixth drummer, seventh drummer, if they watch this, they're going to know that question's coming.
Oh, we're sneaking it in. We're sneaking it in. So we're gonna know when people are prepared, and then we'll change it.
Good idea.
Yeah, we've got a list of about 20 questions, so we'll ride this one till because we have a real treat coming up next week. So we've got a Nashville studio guy, David Northrup.
Oh, he told everybody. I'm gonna bleep that. I'm just gonna bleep that.
It's okay.
Congrats, that's awesome though, guys. Congratulations again.
Because me and him have kind of had we've kind of connected about 8 years ago. And so he said, yeah, I'll do it.
And I think that's the best part about this is that we're talking to people we want to talk to. Other drummers, other musicians, friends of mine, friends of his, or in your case, Steve, like somebody we had never met. And I mean, the stories you just told blew me away. Like, I was not prepared for some of the insight you brought, for some of the stories you have. And it's not just, you're not like, oh, look at me, I met this. It was how you told the story. It was, I got this opportunity. I got to see this. It was really cool.
Well, thank you. And you know what? The opportunity was there, but again, it was there because Jonathan and Myra were receptive to it. I mean, you think of Jonathan Moffett or any big name drummer. What's the chance they're going to want to? I'm just me, right? But we just clicked because you like the humor.
Because you're still people, though. You're still people. They're just people.
Yeah, that's what he would say all the time. Image is one thing. So he would dress up all the time to go out. And he said that was something that Michael told him. Image is so important. Always look the image when you go in public. So.
No, and absolutely. And it's I spent years interviewing MMA fighters, and it was the same kind of concept of it's just a person. And you'd go there and you'd hang out in the hotel room and you'd be like, I remember the first time I'm looking around like I don't belong here. And they're like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And it was after that one, it was like from that moment on, I said, "You know what? I've got to interview people I've looked up to for years. I got to meet them in person, talk to them, and I'll never forget interviewing a fighter. And I just told him, I said, "Hey, I don't mean to bother you because I wasn't there in a media capacity. I was just there as a fan. I said, I just need you to know the first article I ever wrote that got me into MMA journalism was about you and this." And he sat there and talked to me about what I said to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, I thought about doing that." And at that point, I don't remember anything else he said because I just went talking to me about something I wrote
That's pretty awesome.
7 years
That is
ago. And
awesome.
like you said,
Wow.
this podcast, we've talked about it. We'd like sponsors. That'd be great. We're not doing this for money. We're not doing this to be famous. We're doing this because
We want to talk to other drummers.
Yeah. When Dad moved up to Kentucky, I had this idea almost a year ago at this point, and I had to wait 8 months to tell him in person because I said, I'm not telling him about this over the phone. So I'm going to come, we're going to talk about this. and sitting there at breakfast and going over everything, it was amazing to kind of just see what we were going to do. And I mean, we have almost the first 10 guests already. So for a show with nothing, no basis, no, just reaching out to other drummers. And I think it's this community that has been so welcoming. And I mean, I've picked up a drumstick when I was 2, Dad said. I like to say that I remember that, but I definitely don't. I also used to be left-handed, and I had a German babysitter who smacked my hands, so I became right-handed, but not in the drumming sense because I still hold left-hand traditional for a right-handed drummer. It makes absolutely no sense, and it drove everyone nuts in band. So I literally
you're driving me nuts now trying to visualize this.
Yeah.
So
He's got
how did you do it?
He had traditional grip in his right hand.
On his right hand.
So I will hold.
That's how a lefty would do it.
Instead of how a righty would. This
because that's natural. That was always natural to him.
Comfortable.
Do you still so Matt? Do you still play your hi hat with a traditional right hand, or did you fix it to match it?
Still a work.
I don't know if I'm calling you a freak or not. I just don't know what to call you.
No, it's a work in progress. And to be honest, I've never had the opportunity to have a set. I've never lived somewhere where it was feasible, or whatever the case was. I'm thinking in the next year or so that's going to change. Just because I'm just constantly getting more and more. And I think this show is doing more for me than I expected it to as well, of putting myself out there to get a set and play and not just be the guy who bangs on everything, because that's exactly what happens. I can play it. I can hear it. Put me in front of a drum set and I just go, I forgot everything I know about drums.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to that 15 years off, though, thing. The reason I brought that up for your father was you'd be surprised. Listen, first week or two, it's kind of awkward because you're not used to doing it, but I'm telling you, the old riding the bike thing, it's kind of true. It does come back. Coordination comes back. So, like, what kind of kits are you looking at for? I'm going to tell you, this is a Bucks County behind me, the local drum builder.
Gotcha.
But I have a set of armories that you watch most of my videos with that other armory.
Mapex armories.
Yeah,
they're good kits. They're good kits.
Love it. And I've had a USA Custom. I've had a Pearl Reference. Not that they're listening. I sold them, and they were great. Don't get me wrong. But
yeah, I had a Tama Star Classic.
Star Classic. I mean, So my point is, though, you don't have to buy the Mercedes-Benz drums.
Oh no, great drums. Absolutely not.
No.
So you could pick up a used armory for $500, $600.
Yeah, I don't think my neighbors would appreciate that.
Yeah, I like the armories.
Screw your neighbors. I'll say it for you. All right.
I hope they can hear you. They probably can.
I hope they can't. Well, you're in Florida, so I'm fine.
Well, I mean, on that note, like, Steve, just thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show, for supporting us, and even, hitting that follow back button. because that's what started it all. And I know that so many Instagram pages, you hit the button and you get an instant message that says, oh, thanks for following us, or we appreciate. No, I'm actually writing that. Those are actually me going through every single time because, this community is, like we talked about, tight knit, and it's just something that,
And
doors
sometimes
open.
it's me because you can't tell which one of us wrote the comment.
That is way more fun. I think we're gonna have to start saying which one of us it is, because I will get a response to a comment and I go, I didn't write that.
Yeah, same here.
Troy, you could really set him up with some of these comments.
Yes.
Oh
Yes, I could.
Well, let me reciprocate by saying, first of all, you're the first podcast I've ever been on that asked me to be on it. So right off the bat, I'm on. Mm-hmm. Second of all, for what you guys are doing, listen, I have much respect, first of all, for anyone that even posts a video, right? Because once you do that, you are so vulnerable to all the bullshit that comes with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, the fact that you guys are doing it, I just think it's incredibly great that you're doing it and that you're trying to help meld the community, get some of us lesser known people to talk. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves in social media. Like I said earlier, there's so many great players, but they don't have the voice. People don't know about it.
Yeah. They live in Omaha, Nebraska, and can't go to LA or Nashville,
Right.
But they can play.
Right. There's so many people. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you something. I guarantee you that of all these drummers that we see on social media, there's 1,000 of them that could play in all these big bands easily. But they just never got the opportunity, or things didn't line up the right way.
Yeah.
Or they don't believe in themselves.
I believe in myself, but family, kids, things come up and it kind of takes you, derails you off that course. Mm-hmm. So, I get it. And you're right. Some people, don't have the confidence to put themselves out there or to go after it. But you're still giving a platform for people like me that can speak. People get to see me, hear what I have to say without me being a huge name in the drum world.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. That's it.
Yeah, you nailed that point.
I will, and I'll tell you what. Right now, I will DM you guys or message you guys. I honestly will talk. I will give you Jonathan's. You follow Jonathan on Instagram?
I do. Yeah. So I love the cymbal suites behind his back.
Dude, that was another video, by the way. If you go back and look, I tried to emulate it. This is after we started talking, right? So I would always make fun of him. He's an old man. I don't call him old man, but he's not that old. I tried to do it, just joking around. Took a header, almost broke the sheetrock behind me. I don't know how his shoulders don't. I was saying,
my shoulder can't do that anymore. No. So
I look at that and I'm in pain. I'm like, but he does it so effortlessly.
And the other guy that I enjoy, you guys, you follow Mike Tirana?
Yes, he's another one of us older guys. Yeah,
and he's a cool guy too. I've had many conversations with him. He's a very cool dude. He will answer you. He will send you a little video explaining stuff. I mean, but he's an older guy that's doing cool stuff. So I look for motivation.
Yeah, and I think that I've been in the Dennis Chambers last year at the Delaware Drum Show, which is a local show. It's actually this Sunday. I got a picture. I mean, can't be nicer. Sat down.
Yeah, I have met him. Yeah, I have met him before.
I'm blown away. I'm like, dude, you're you. I'm me. Yeah. But the drummers are a weird breed, man. They're just cool.
Most of them. I can name a few that aren't, but.
You know what I put too? I was just trying to be nice. We
only named one, and it was warranted, and I don't care.
Yes.
Who is it? Can you tell me?
Peter Erskine.
Yeah, Peter Erskine.
Was it kind of a, you know what?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Got mad at me for wearing a hat, a Mapex hat, that was given to me by Greg Bissonette the day before.
Yeah, literally, Greg Bissonette. He's a Yamaha guy. I think he's a Tama guy now. But he was a Yamaha guy then. But he was a Yamaha guy then. Yeah.
Oh, that's stupid.
Well, and Greg Bissonette actually put the hat on his head, so he wasn't taking it off.
Yeah, no, I wasn't taking it off. I was like, I still got it somewhere. I know I haven't gotten rid of it.
Is he a cool guy? Greg Bissonette seems to keep me a pretty cool guy.
He is one of the coolest guys I've ever met. He's
That's
he is
awesome.
I had
he's a cool dude.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah,
lucky enough to see him obviously in that drum clinic. And how old was I? 11, 12?
yeah, believing so. Yeah.
And then I got to see him play with Ringo's All-Star Band like 6 months ago.
Oh, that's cool too. Yeah.
And we talked about being in line, and there was a older, I say older gentleman, I'm not saying anything. It's just somebody not my age.
Troy wanted to fly in the floor to kick his ass if he keeps coming at us
Mhm.
like that.
I'll just tell his mom he said that. So
Thank you.
And
I
the
forgot
the guy in front of me, we were talking, and I said, I'm really excited. He goes, yeah, me too. He's like, I'm here for Greg Bissonette. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm here for Greg Bissonette. Like, obviously, I want to see Ringo play, but I haven't gotten to see Greg play. And he starts talking, and we went down this like memory lane. And he's like, oh, yeah, my buddy Bill at this store. And we found out we knew the same people, like, knew the same
Small
complete
world.
stranger. And I said, but again, drums brought everybody together. And
That's awesome.
I'll end with this. I remember those Saturdays. Dad and I going to Encore Music, going to Thoroughbred Music, going to Sam Ash, spending an
Mhm.
hour hitting cymbals. Oh, I like how this. No, I like how that. No, I like it. And it was, you didn't need a phone. You didn't need a tablet. You didn't need an electronic. You just needed a drumstick from the bucket that was beat to hell.
Yeah, don't
And
take
if
the
you
new
grab one of the
drumsticks.
new ones, they'd come over and take it from you. No, don't do
Yeah.
that. That's a new stick. Don't do that.
That
Or
is
you're
sad.
buying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad. I went to a local guitar center not that long ago with a buddy of mine. The drum section's empty. There's a couple cymbals, all used kits for the most part. Back in the
Mhm.
heyday, then as you say, before internet, there were jam. People, it was just loud. You go in and they had all the latest and greatest stuff.
Yeah.
Now everybody just goes on Sweetwater or goes online to eBay or Marketplace or
Mhm.
whatever. That's how they shop. It's a
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah. I've shopped at Sweetwater online. I'm guilty.
Well, I just get it for the candy. I like the candy that comes with every order.
I know. I didn't get candy once. I was disappointed, but
Oh,
yeah, I
we're gonna
know.
write a strongly worded letter now.
I'll sign it. I'll sign it too. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you for. I know you guys got to go. Thank you for having me on the show. And I'll
You're welcome,
private
Steve.
message you guys about Jonathan, and hopefully you guys.
Yeah, we'll give you our numbers. You can text us anytime. So
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing I want to do is let you, Steve, tell people where they can find your stuff. Like you said, you're not that big drummer, but you've got some amazing stuff. So the YouTube channel, the Instagram, like throw out the name so that people can follow it.
The Instagram I think is SC Drummer 1. I think because someone had SC Drummer. TikTok is SC Drummer, and my YouTube is SC Drummer. I'm more active on Instagram and TikTok than I am on YouTube. But that's SC Drummer, either one behind it or no one. It's just SC Drummer.
Perfect.
very
I know,
cool.
Dad. Sorry, I talked over you.
Oh, I just want to know what's the deal with is it the ham log or the ham? There's two kinds of ham in New Jersey. Half of New Jersey likes the one. I can't ham roll. It's a ham roll or something like that.
Dude, I know you're in Kentucky, and I know you probably don't have a lot to do out there. But where the hell did you come up with that? I'm wondering if
they were doing it during the hockey game the other day. The north part of Jersey likes this, and the what's the name of that stuff?
Troy, I'm a
Taylor ham. It's Taylor ham. Yeah, Taylor ham. What's the deal with that?
I have no idea, man. I'll eat any ham. I don't give a shit. Look at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they showed it during the hockey game. This part of Jersey eats this ham. This part doesn't eat Taylor ham. It's like, what?
Listen, you bring the hard questions on this show.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to Google it now. Thanks, Troy.
You're welcome.
Now.
Yeah. And all the stories you hear about Kentucky are true. So.
No, and I'm going to break the stones back. Listen, I'm in Jersey, man. This isn't exactly paradise.
It's okay. I spent 30-something years in Florida too. I'm not crazy about your airport there. So in Newark. So.
No. Well, remember, I'm South
not a
Jersey.
fun
I'm in
airport.
Philadelphia. I don't go to Newark.
Okay. You're Cherry Hill.
Yeah, I'm closer to Cherry Hill. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I had a friend from Cherry Hill I worked with years ago.
Well, Steve, again, thank you so
Yeah.
much. On behalf of
you,
myself, Dad,
Myself too. Oh,
I
I'm
was like,
supposed to.
we gotta coordinate. I've tried this and I realized that not explaining this verse is never gonna make it work.
He's gonna have
Super
to have
shout
cue
out
cards
as
for me.
always. Yeah, super shout out as always to Tales of a Concert Junkie. Make some of the best shirts out there. It's what I'm wearing. It says "Life is short, buy the tickets." I firmly believe in that. It's funny because you mentioned Madonna because I'm going to. Well, I'm not going to see him. My fiance is going to see him. She doesn't know it yet though. So cheers to that.
Now someone's going to see
Cheers.
his luck is going to see this and knows his fiance.
Yeah, that's fine. So they won't watch till the end. They're gonna cut it off right at like 43. They're like, we're done.
Yeah.
She asked about
Tired.
ham logs.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. We'll definitely hit you up afterwards. But thank you so much for showing up. And this was
And
the
have a
DrumQuig
good night, Steve.
Yeah, you guys too, man. Rock and roll. Thanks. Your podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe to the DrumQuig podcast. Thank you so much.